Hello friends, SentinalhMC here with a little quick thing. This is something that Reika suggested in the comments of our crystal tank video, to take a look at a variety of different fluids and the various symbols that show up on the tanks and see if we can't figure out if there's a pattern to them. And of course there is, it definitely is. It doesn't seem like anything that Reika does is by accident or anything. And so if you noticed on the crystal tank tutorial video, you got the cool little lumen rune symbols that move around on the tank. They start from some block. It doesn't, whichever one it is, and then they slowly move down until they reach the bottom and disappear. And the cool thing about these is that they are actually related to whatever fluid is inside the tank, right? So first things first, we can see that every single one of these will have the Vidali symbol on it. And if we open our lexicon and if we scroll over to crystal energy, we can read about the various types. If we go over to Vidali, we see that it's fluid and associated with liquids and fluid flow, which means it's perfectly reasonable why Vidali would show up on all of these tanks, because these are all fluids. Interestingly, water, as well as, I believe this is lubricant, yep, they only get the Vidali symbol. I guess because water is basically just the purest of fluids. It doesn't have any other effects, so it's just fluid. And lubricant, it's just a fluid, but it's also about flow and sort of lubricating things. So it just has the Vidali on it too. It doesn't have any other special runes that show up. So I've watched the tanks for a little while to see which runes other than Vidali pop up on them, and I've placed rune blocks in front of the tanks. And we're going to go through these, and we're going to take a look and see how they match up with the fluid that's in the tank. So first over here we've got liquid chroma, and it has the Zambaru rune. I know I don't pronounce that right, and the Nilla rune. And so of course if we look in our chromic lexicon and we go over to Nilla, it's of course Nilla glows, banishing the darkness. It must be the element of light. And Zambaru says rather than being a clear force, Zambaru is attuned to enhancing and boosting the power of the others and giving its own effects, but it is likely capable of transferring that enhancement to other things as well. And of course liquid chroma, it's a working fluid in a lot of things that involve enchantment, like the chromic enchanter. We use it to do various alloying things and of course boosting shards. Basically liquid chroma likes to transfer things to other things, and it glows, I guess. I think it does. If you put it, yeah, it emits a small amount of light, so it can be Nilla as well. It's banishing the darkness. Lava also has Nilla, and of course lava is a great source for light, especially down in the caves. And it also has Portocali, which of course, if we check this, we see that Portocali is warm, even hot, and is a core component of things like lava and fire. Obviously, makes sense. You get shot by a Portocali pylon and you gain fire resistance. Portocali is the energy of the heat and the hot, so it only makes sense that lava has it. Water, as I mentioned, it doesn't have anything other than Vidali. Now we move to jet fuel, which, funnily enough, is a lot less pink when you put it in, a lot less vibrantly pink when you put it in one of these chromic tanks, crystal tanks, whatever. Then if you put it in a reservoir, it's bright pink. Here it's kind of a deeper pink, which is interesting. And it has Catrino in addition to its other ones, and of course Catrino it's raw energy. The element of raw energy, and of course we know that there's quite a lot of energy contained within this jet fuel. In the last episode, I mentioned, I wonder how much energy a fully filled crystal tank, maximum capacity full of jet fuel, would have. And Reika actually calculated it based on the energy density of jet fuel, and it would be, it was like on the order of kilotons, several kilotons of TNT. Not really up there with a nuke, but pretty crazy. Or was that ethanol or fuel? I don't know which one he did. I don't, now I forget. But I think it was several kilotons. It was like tens of kilotons of TNT, which is kind of fun. and maybe enough to level a city block. I don't know. So we've got over here molten sodium, which is an interesting case. It's got portocali, which of course is heat, as we just said, and of course molten sodium is very hot. So I'm not surprised that it's got portocali. Oh, come on, meteors. I would have thought it would have like another one, but it's only got the portocali. Some of these have two, some of them only have one. Over here, we've got liquid nitrogen, and it gets Tahara, which I thought was very interesting, because if we look at this, Tahara, of course, it's ties them all together, unifies them into a coherent harmony, making it the purest of them all. And so that element of purity is on liquid nitrogen. I thought that was interesting. I wonder if there's a specific reason for that. So yeah, we got Tahara on the liquid nitrogen. It's kind of neat. Over here, we've got chlorine gas, and in addition to Vidali, it also has Asvesti. I don't know if we'll see the Asvesti come down or not, but it does show up on here. There it is. You see how I saw a quick flash down there because it appeared on the bottom block instantly. There it is. There's the Asvesti. So of course, Asvesti is the energy of motion. If we check this out, it's Asvesti can be able to move to poles, making it a clear candidate for energy associated with movement and mobility. So I'm not sure what that has to do with chlorine. I kind of forget, what do we do? What do we even do with chlorine? I can't even remember. But yeah, chlorine gas has the Asvesti, energy of movement and motion. Lubricant, as we mentioned, only has Vidali. Now we've got uranium hexafluoride, which also has the Asvesti. I thought it was going to have some other stuff, but no, just the Asvesti as well as Vidali. So chlorine and uranium hexafluoride, both with the Asvesti rune. Now over here, we've got this is thorium fuel. This is lithium, beryllium, thorium reactor fuel. And interestingly, it has Neutrino, obviously, raw energy, but it also has Karmer, which I thought was very interesting because Karmer is the energy of defense. When applied, it gives protective and defensive capabilities. So that's a very interesting thing to have on this thorium reactor fuel. Is Karmer. There it is. The energy of defense. That's interesting. I like that. I suppose the thorium fuel, you could say the thorium reactor is a bit safer than... could you say that? That it's a bit safer than uranium and fission reactors? Maybe that's where it's coming from? The fact that it's a bit safer? I don't know. Reika can comment on why it has Karmer. That would be my first impression. I tested quite a few more of these, especially the ones from ReactorCraft. Tritium and deuterium both only have the Asvesti, and I couldn't figure out how I would... one, I couldn't figure it out, and two, I didn't feel like I wanted to go through the trouble to try and get plasma in one of these tanks. So I didn't do that. But that, if it worked, if I could get it in a tank, I think that would definitely have Neutrino. But yeah, it's one of the cool things about these crystal tanks is that they show up with the runes, the lumen runes, based on the properties of the fluid that's inside them, which is really neat. So when you see these runes, they're not just random runes; they're related to the fluid in them, which is very cool. So this was just a quick little episode, little tie-in, because it's been a really busy week, and I've got a dentist appointment today, so I don't really have time to put together and record like a full video because I've got a lot to do. So I hope you guys don't mind that this was a little bit of just a little fun little addition, not really a tutorial video, but a fun little thing. So normal tutorial videos, hopefully next week we'll have another one that's an actual tutorial, just because I'm hoping that I have more time next week, because this one was really kicked my butt. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like and comment the video if you did enjoy it. Join the Discord if you'd like to chat. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.